Now, joining me is the economist, the independent economist, Catherine McBride. I must say, before we get to Catherine, let's have a quick look at a television advert that has been produced by a cryptocurrency platform. I'll explain why after we see this.
We ain't got no troubles, no reason to complain. 'Cause here in great old Britain, we just love it when it rains.
Morning.
We're cosy here at home,
Even though it's not our own. But wait a few more years and who can say?
everything is just fine. Everything is grand. Your life can get no better when you live by the letter in this pleasant land.
Yeah, that's an advert basically explaining how everything is broken and why we should buy this particular product because everything seems broken in Britain. Catherine, just how broken is the economy?
Well, I don't think it's that bad, though. There will be areas. There was a time when there was a garbage strike in Birmingham. There are areas
Still
in Britain
going on.
where there are problems like that. In London, you don't notice that so much, but everyone is looking to the future in London. And we are, as even people like Ray Dalio, who doesn't even live in Britain, is saying we're in a doom loop, and the IMF is saying the same thing, because we're taxing the instruments of wealth creation. And so businesses, there's another survey out this week saying business sentiment has dropped to its all-time low since they started doing this survey. And if a business has no confidence in the UK, they won't invest here. They won't hire more people. They won't expand at all. And if they don't expand, then the Treasury gets less money. The same with the wealthy people. If you drive the non-doms, not just the non-doms, if you drive British high net worth individuals are also leaving. So if you drive them out of the country, you've got less people to pay the tax.
Well, we only showed a short clip of that advert. There is actually a moment in it where you see a couple driving a fancy car just saying, we're going off to Dubai.
Yeah.
And I wonder if advertising executives have found that this is something to tap into the general feeling out there in the country, that nothing works, that everything is broken, that taxes are sky high, that the energy prices are so great that the lights flicker on and off sometimes. I mean, to what extent is Britain just in this market doom loop, this sense of decline?
Well, there is also this tragedy of a deindustrialisation, which has been going on very rapidly in the last few years. So we've got 2 oil refineries have closed. The steel works at Port Talbot was closed. The one in Scunthorpe is only open because the government has nationalised it effectively.
Yeah. And therefore it's an inefficient plant and it's not making any money. I want to ask, what does this mean for the budget? We're expecting a big budget from Rachel Reeves in the autumn. I mean, it's going to have to raise taxes.
Well, Rachel Reeves should be as sensible as every other person in the country. Everyone knows that when you have a debt problem, the first thing you do is cut spending because that's the easiest, quickest thing to do. And then you look at getting a new job and making more money. So she's got to look at how she's going to make more money. But
she tried to cut spending, and the Labour backbenchers basically cut her route off for that.
Well, then you don't have to cut welfare spending, though you should look at it because there's all of these stories in the press about how people with ADHD or something have got themselves a car out of the government. And it's like, well, ADHD is not a mobility issue.
No. Amazingly, some alcoholics have been given free cars, which seems just extraordinary.
The worst one I heard is someone with tennis elbow. Wow. And it's like, well, sorry, like what? But take a taxi. But so there is waste in the welfare budget. I won't pretend there isn't. But there are other areas we should be cutting.
Yeah.
I mean, if the NHS needs more money, let's start getting rid of some of the administrators. Let's start looking at the DEI people employed by the
sadly,
NHS.
Catherine, you are not in number 11 Downing Street. Perhaps the country would be much better off if you were. What do we expect the Chancellor will tax?
Well, everyone is talking about a wealth tax, but we already have wealth taxes. First, we have capital gains tax. You have to be relatively wealthy to have the ability to get a capital gains. We also have a tax on when you buy houses. Almost everyone I know, especially your age, if they're looking to buy their first house or looking to go to a family house, they want to get married and have children, they're all discovering they've got this massive stamp duty to pay. We also have stamp duty on shares, and then we've got a government wondering why people are not listing in the UK. Well, if you've got a dual listing, you're going to buy in a country without stamp duty on shares. I mean, that's pretty obvious. We also obviously have death duties. And our death duties are driving the rich people out of the UK because they're 40%, which is incredibly high. A lot of countries have death duties, but they kick in at the real wealth. You know, ours start at £325,000, which is nothing. You know, in the US, they started about $16 million. So you're catching a whole... The US wants people to be rich. They want people to start businesses, make money, and they know that that helps the whole economy.
Absolutely.
We've got a government that wants everyone to be poor, and they haven't thought that through yet.
Well, what a cheery conversation for a Sunday morning. Catherine McBride, thank you so much.